So CAT forms are out, and if you're registering for CAT 2025, this is going to be a very important video for you so that you do not make any mistake while filling the form. Every year I have seen candidates after the CAT exam, they realize that they have filled certain details in their form which can affect their selection chances. Hence, make sure you watch this video till the end, each of these sections, so that you do not make any mistake and fill the form correctly with the right details. So directly starting with the application, once you go to the CAT website, you have to register as a new candidate. Remember, if you had even appeared for CAT 2024 or previously had appeared for CAT, then also you have to register as a new candidate. It's a fresh application. You cannot log in using the same username. So register as a new candidate, and once you get the username and password, later if you're trying to log in, then you would be using the login feature. So register as a new candidate, and you have to fill certain details. That is your name, your date of birth, your email address, your phone number. These are the primary details that you have to fill. Remember, these are certain details that you cannot change later on in the form. So these have to be absolutely correct, especially the name and the date of birth has to be correct. Email and phone number anyway is being verified by OTP, so that will be correct. But one important thing to note here is make sure the email ID that you're using, you will have access to that email ID till June or July of next year, because the same email ID is going to be used for the entire admission process. So make sure you have access till June or July of 2026 at least. So if you are using your work email ID or you're using your institute email ID, make sure you do not use that. You use your personal email ID so that you always have the access. So once you complete this step, your username and password will be generated, which you can use to log in into the platform. Now we will continue with the application. So if you start with the application, now you will see there are different tabs over here, and that is your personal details, academics, your work experience, your programs, your test city, your declaration, and we will go through each of these tabs one by one to explain you the process. So starting with the personal details, and for personal details I don't need to explain much. It's pretty intuitive. Whatever your details are, you'll just fill your address and father's name, guardian's name, everything. That's completely fine. However, one important thing to note under personal details is your photograph and your signature. So photograph and signature is important, especially the photograph. Make sure you are looking straight into the camera, you're not looking here and there, the photo is not blurry, very important. At the same time, your eyes are visible. It's not that the camera's flash is visible in your eye, so it should be properly visible as well. So these are certain things you need to make sure of. In case you need to have a photograph professionally shot, please do that in case that's required. The file size should be less than 1 MB, but the idea is where that affects is sometimes what happens is when you go to the exam center and your face is not matching, or you're looking here and there on the camera, your face is blurry on that particular photograph, then the invigilator, whoever is there in the exam center, can create a problem. So it's better to have a very clear photograph. You're looking straight into the camera, your eyes are visible, so that there is no problem during the exam day at least. Similarly for signature as well, make sure those are not pixelated and is not very blurry. It's very clear, whatever photograph or PDF you have uploaded. And because the same signature you might have to do during the examination center as well, and that signature should match with this one. So make sure that this is also very properly visible. And however, you have to also make sure that the size is there, like within the limit. There's a particular size limit that has been indicated over here, so make sure your image size stays within that limit. Next is academics, and this is very important because your selection depends on this particular section. So you have to fill the correct details. If you input more marks, then it might create problems later. If you input less marks, then also your selection chances might be affected. And more importantly, you have to be careful about certain things over here. For example, in academics in 10th and 12th score, you have to include percentage of all the subjects that are mentioned on the mark sheet. For example, there might be certain electives and your board might consider top 4 or top 5. However, that is not how you calculate for the CAT form. You add up all the particular subjects that are mentioned on your mark sheet and you input those details. The percentage will automatically be calculated. However, when you do the total, when you do the maximum marks total, make sure you have added all the subjects. When you do your marks total, make sure you have added all the subjects, and that is your correct percentage. Don't do a top 4 or a top 5 or certain subject was just elective, so you ignore that. You cannot do that. It's clearly mentioned you have to include all the subjects on the mark sheet. So make sure you do that for 10th and 12th both. And your boards also, whatever whatever board you are choosing, that also should be correct, because again, your selection chances depend on that. Some person getting say 90 percentage on a state board might be very different from someone scoring 90 percentage on for an ICBSE or an ICSE board. So make sure you fill those particular things correctly. Then coming to your graduation details, make sure you choose properly whether you're an engineering or from other stream, because your selection depends on this. Your percentage as well has to be written clearly. A lot of you might not have cleared your graduation, and it's completely fine. Whatever marks you have obtained till the last semester, that needs to be put over here. In case you don't know the conversion factor, suppose you have the CGPA but you don't know the conversion factor, then you can ask your college authorities, the HOD, whoever is your admin in the admin department. Please ask them what's the conversion factor. If they don't have a policy, most of the candidates end up doing into 10. It's completely fine. However, make sure that you properly understand if your college has a conversion factor or not. You have to input the right percentage over here. It's not the CGPA, it's the percentage. So you have to convert your CGPA into percentage and input it over here. And in case you have done any professional courses like CA, CFA, please mark that there is an option to tick that particular checkbox as well. Don't forget that, because if you have done such a degree, then it increases your selection chances in the B school. So make sure you mark that option in case you have pursued that degree. And obviously, if you have completed that degree, not that you are in level 1 or so, and you can mark it. So this is all about academic section. The most important thing and the most common mistake that I've already mentioned is people do not add up all the subjects in their 10th and 12th mark sheet, and a lot of candidates suffer at the end because of this. Make sure you do that and input the correct details. Next, we'll go to work experience, but before I go there, also let me tell you about the partners of this video, which will be very useful for you if you are preparing for CAT 2025 seriously, because the best way of preparation is to solve previous year CAT papers, previous year CAT questions, and that is where this particular book can come in very handy, and that is Oswaal Books 25 years solved paper. So in this book, you will find all the CAT questions from last 25 years, and that too segregated topic wise. So this is a very important feature, because suppose you are still in the preparation phase, you're preparing a particular topic, say simple interest, compound interest, percentages, whatever it is, then you can go topic wise, and whatever previous questions have been asked from that particular topic, you can practice it. In fact, this book has questions for all the three sections: verbal, DILR and quant, which means for DILR it's very useful, because sometimes you don't even understand that which particular topic this set is from. So that also is segregated topic wise. If you're doing arrangements, you can just go and practice arrangement sets and so on. So for all the three sections, you will find the questions related to past 25 years. And if you want to practice a paper, then CAT 2024 paper across the slots is available, so you can practice it in the form of a test as well. It's available in the book. At the same time, what this book has are some smart revision notes, some mind maps, some smart shortcuts that you can use for your preparation as well. So even if you're looking to prepare for CAT, not exactly just practicing the previous year questions, but also preparing for CAT and having these mind maps handy, then obviously you can use the same particular book, which will provide you mind maps and these kind of questions for all the three sections in one particular book. And obviously the answers, explanation for the questions are clearly mentioned in this book. So if you want to buy this, I will put the link in the description as well as in the pinned comment. You can check it out from there. Remember, whatever you do, you have to solve previous year questions at least 10 years. A serious candidate will solve 25 years question, but at least you have to go with preparation of the 10 previous year papers. So next is work experience, and this time I guess we have very few details compared to what we had last year. We just have to fill your company name, you just have to fill your designation, your start date, end date. In case you're still working, then your work experience till 31st July 2025 is to be considered, and then you can fill in case you had any gap in between, and it will automatically calculate the days. In case you had different designations in the same company, suppose you were promoted, you had different designations, then you can add different kind of rows here. You can just add another row, put another designation, and put the dates appropriately. Make sure the total experience that you have, that is correct, because that is the most important parameter. So make sure your total experience that you have, it's not less, it's not more, it's exactly the way it should be. At the same time, one very important thing to note under work experience is only full-time work experience after your graduation needs to be filled over here. Any internship that you have done, that does not matter, that need not go here. In case you were working full-time while you were still in your college, while you were doing your graduation, even then it does not matter. Even then you have to fill only that work experience which comes after your graduation. So hopefully you don't do that mistake, because work experience is very important. It's a shortlisting criteria, so they take it very seriously. Make sure the total experience that you have, it is appropriately represented. And for work experience, you should have all the proofs as well. The proofs are not required probably at this point of time, but later when you go to the college interviews, it will be required. And valid proofs are something like, say, salary slips, last 3 4 months salary slips, and your offer letter or your joining letter. That's also one of the ways to prove your work experience. So from where you start, and the last 3 4 months of pay slip whenever you ended your work, last 3 4 months of pay slip. And in case you have already resigned, then your relieving letter can also be one of the documents that you can use. Next are the programs that you need to fill, and for this, remember, these are all the IIM programs. You don't need to file a separate application for most of the IIMs. It's usually the CAD application form through which you can apply for them. There are some IIMs, some new IIMs, for which you have to file a separate admission form will be released, and you have to fill that form as well, and you have to apply separately. But most of the IIMs will be covered over here, so you have to select those programs. And for the other non-IIM MBA colleges, there will be again separate admission forms, so you have to fill those separate admission forms as well. Here what you have to do is you have to tick all those programs that you're interested in. Honestly, what I did was I just selected all the programs. Yes, I know PhD programs, executive MBA programs, I am not eligible for that. However, I did not want to miss out on any important program by mistake, so I just selected all. I selected the interview cities for all, and I just let it be, because anyway I'm not eligible, so I'll not get a call for executive MBA, I'll not get a call for PhD programs. However, I didn't want to miss out on the core MBA programs. In case you want to be selective, you can leave just the executive MBA and the PhD programs if you want to. However, rest of the programs, please select those programs. Some of the programs will be MBA Business Analytics, MBA in HR, FABM programs like in IIM Ahmedabad. All those programs, please fill those. Even if you think that you're not interested at this point of time, there is no extra money that will be required to fill extra programs, right? So just fill as many programs as you want to, and we can decide later which one you want to go into, which kind of calls you will get, and we can decide those things later. But fill all the programs that you can see over here. And the interview cities as well, make sure you fill it properly, because the interviews are tentatively going to be conducted in the month of February, March. Maybe some will extend to April, but usually it will be February, March. So fill those cities where you will be there in the month of February, March. Suppose you're working somewhere and you have resigned and you will move back to your hometown during that time, then fill your hometown, fill that particular city. So whichever city you can imagine that you would be in the month of February, March, fill that particular city. So there are two preferences, so you can use that actively as well. And yeah, I know it's a kind of a manual work as well. You have to fill all the interview cities for all the programs that you have filled, but make sure you choose the interview city appropriately wherever you think you will be in the month of February and March. Next, we come to the test cities, and here again it's self-explanatory. Test city 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You select your preference. Remember, whichever order you want to appear in, please select it accordingly. So your priority is given to allocating you a center in city 1. If it is not possible, then city 2, then city 3, and then city 4, and so on. You will most probably get one of the cities in these 5 only, and for most of you, you might be lucky, you will get the first city preference. However, for a lot of people, it does appear to be second, third, and fourth as well. So that is something you need to take care of. What I did was, I was in Pune at that point of time, but I made sure that I come to Kolkata, that is my hometown, during the CAT exam. You know already the exam date, that is on 30th November. So wherever you will be, fill the first city accordingly. I decided to be in my hometown during that time. I'll take leave and be in my hometown, because I wanted to be something which is very familiar. I can take my car to the center. I can at the same time know the roads as well in Kolkata. Otherwise, in a new city where I don't exactly know the roads, if I get a center which is very far away, I wanted to avoid those tensions. Okay, so that's why what I did is I just wanted to be in my city. I filled the first preferred city according to my hometown, but that's completely your decision whether you want to stay in your city, whether you want to come to your hometown, whatever it is. But make sure your first, second, third preference are in order, because those are very important. It might happen if you don't get the first city, don't just fill any particular random city in two. Okay, fill the closest city where you can be we can reach easily, because it might so happen that you might get your second or your third preference as well. It's very common, people do get that. So be very careful in this particular section. Next, you just need to do the declaration, and that is it. Make sure once you have made the payment and everything, you keep a screenshot. A lot of times happens it's the payment does not get processed, so this kind of a proof if you have, then obviously it helps you. Usually it will not happen, but in case it happens, you don't want to take the risk. In case you have made the payment, please take a screenshot of your receipt and everything that you have received and keep it handy with you. So once your application is done, let me quickly cover some of the forms that you need to keep in handy after this. So on the CAT website itself, you will see there are certain registration and forms, and I'll quickly explain who needs to fill what kind of form. For example, the first one you see is the authorization form. So anyone who needs to carry any equipment, say a hearing aid or something in the during the CAT exam, they need to fill this authorization form and get it authorized. Okay, so this is the first one. After that, there's a scribe affidavit that you have. So very self-explanatory that if you want to carry a scribe into the exam center, you need to get this filled. Then there's the identification affidavit. So this is to prove your place of residence, that you have been staying in the, basically your domicile certificate. You are staying in that particular location for a long period of time. If you don't have any other proof of your domicile of your residence, then you need to get this filled. You need to get this attested by a notary, someone, some official. For example, it can be a police person, a lawyer, or someone, anyone who is associated with that has the right to affidavit such kind of a document, can do this. After that, you have the final year certificate, and this is very important for all the final year students. Get this attested that you are a final year student. You need to prove this, so get this attested by someone from your college, either an HOD or a dean, whoever you see fit, who can give this kind of a stamp from the college itself. So get this particular document done that you are a final year student currently. And after that, there are these category certificates. If you belong to any category, say OBC, SC, ST, PWD, or EWS, then make sure you fill those particular, you fill that certificate and have these proof handy, because this will be required later, and you can have that in this particular format that they have mentioned on the website, so it will be easier for you. So I've covered everything around how you need to fill the form, what are the different forms that you need to keep in handy, the different affidavits and everything that you need to keep in handy. So whenever you, I would suggest you, whenever you're filling the form, keep this video handy with you. Whenever you're filling a particular section, come back to this video, check if you have filled everything correctly, then again start filling the form. You can fill that very slowly, it's completely fine. At the same time, there is a registration guide already on the website, so you can read that registration guide as well. I covered almost everything that was required to be covered, but still do read the registration guide, because there is no extra effort. Like, you can be very sure about the form that you're filling, so collect information from as many sources as possible. And you can fill the form very slowly. There is no rush to fill the form. It does not mean if you fill the application form early, it does not mean you will get your preferred center. There is no criteria like that, so take your time, fill it very slowly. And with this application form, the clock for the CAT examination has already started ticking, so hope you're preparing well as well. And I will keep releasing videos on preparation as well, that is your last 100-day strategy and how you should go about attempting the CAT paper, what should be your attempt strategy, a mock analysis strategy, and everything. So make sure, if you're a CAT aspirant and you have not subscribed to the channel, do so, because there will be a lot of useful videos coming up till CAT 2025 and after that as well. So that's it for this particular video. See you in the next one.